everybody's having a good day. Just thought I'd pop in here and see what we got going on. You know what I mean? Is it buffering? Yeah. Guys, I'm hearing all kinds of different crazy stuff already. I see a lot of different, I get a lot of different information from a lot of different places, you know. And it most definitely... Oh, is everybody buffering? It might be me. If everybody is. Hold on a minute. I was kind of afraid of this because of exactly what's been going on. Well, it says I got good stream status. Let me know if anybody... Okay, you're not Shine? Alright. What that means, guys, if one person in my chat says they're not buffering, that means it's not on my end. If everybody is, then, you know, then it's me. But, okay, cool. So I'll leave all those tabs open. If you guys start seeing a bunch of buffering across the board, let me know. That way I can shut some stuff off to try to help that. Hey, Christine, Tab, good to see everybody in here. Sorry for my loss of voice a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys caught the show last night over at Mark's channel, Mark Byers. We had a really good time over there, guys. It was, we were doing some things, and listen, we had some call-ins, and we were just having a good time. And I decided to slip into the old Aunt Judy mode there a little bit. We did a little bit of an interview with her. And that was a visual, guys, by the way. I have a little bit of an Aunt Judy costume, let's just say. And for those that don't know, Aunt Judy is Joe Biden's Aunt Judy. And, yeah. She has a massive thyroid problem. That's why her facial hair was a little out of control. And, judging by last night, man, that girl needs to figure out how to put some makeup on, too. Just so everybody knows. Yeah, Robert, that would be kind of... Where you at? It starts at 5 in the morning here, so a bit tiresome trying to juggle it all. Yeah, I mean, around the world, guys, everybody is going to have a lot of different reports on what's going on right now. Right now, nothing is real too severe. Okay? I'm having a little bit of issue here with what's going on with, some of this data we're seeing. And the difference here, guys, this is the ACE data right here. Oh, South Wales? Cool. Like my UK people. Heck yeah. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. You might have told me that before, Robert. I think you did. Sorry. Yeah, mods are great here, guys. Seriously. Thanks for saying that, Paula. I'm sure they appreciate that. Thank you for being here. So, yeah. Nickel, that right there. Yeah, he's probably, Robert's probably boiling right now. It's hot over there, guys. Anybody don't know, Australia is on, they're just burning with heat. So let me give you a little update on what's going on actually solar weather-wise right now. You guys are seeing this right here. That's the solar wind speed. And again, I'm sorry for my raspy voice here. I was just talking and stuff so much last night. It took my voice away a little bit here. But what we're seeing here, guys, is an uptick. And it's a significant, pretty quick uptick. This is kind of what we've been looking for the start of all this. I wasn't sure if the solar wind speed would pick up like this quick. I really kind of expected the density to do it first. But they can both happen. It's kind of reversed. It's weird how the solar wind kind of moves around sometimes. It's one time you'll think it's coming this way first, and then it'll get you on the other side of it. So that's why it's kind of difficult to, report on this stuff in any kind of accurate time frame also. And to speak to that, I want to show you guys this. Now, anybody that's been watching my channel at all lately, I've been showing this every day, right? Well, yesterday, I want you guys to look down here. Space Weather Prediction Center, runtime. That's the last time it was updated right here. Image created. Early, like the turn of the day on the 8th. This is old. Okay? And I've seen quite a few channels pop out here and start showing this like it's current data. It is not. This is not current data. This graph here itself, number one, it only shows you 2 days behind. So you can go out 2 days, like right to here, and it doesn't match up with the time you're on right now. So something's going on with this model. It's not updating. I don't know why they're not updating it. It doesn't make any sense because it's not like this model is on the satellite. It's not. The data they're getting for this model is on the satellite, but other tools are using the same data and they're running. So it makes you wonder why. Why they're doing that. Or what's going on. I mean, they can be having issues. I get that, but the timing of it's just kind of strange. You know, we're supposed to be having this big solar storm happening, and all of a sudden the Enlil model is no longer there. It's not updating. But yet the ACE data and other things are. So it's just really strange. So we do have stuff to look at here. You know, we can take a look at other agencies, other tools that can help us understand what's going on currently. But I go straight to this too. Our geomagnetism is not rising at all right now. Now, let me say before I go any further than that, this has just now started to happen. So our geomagnetism isn't going to get smacked like immediately, unless it is from that CME. But remember, we are expecting a solar wind increase from a coronal hole before the CME gets here. So I've been, you know, kind of digging into this morning a little bit. And, you know, one of the things I thought, well, let's see if they've changed their predictions on how strong this is going to be and when we can be expecting those kinds of conditions that they're predicting. So up here, if you just click over, it's still saying the same thing. So they're still predicting the same strength of storm. That's significant because, you know, if that data we seen that wasn't updating had changed, you would think that this would change a little bit. Okay? So, you know, I'll just leave it at that on that part of it right now. But there's not much we can do about it. Frankly, all we can do is look at what we got. And that's you know, really that's the only thing we can do. So, also want to point out here, the BZ is -5 right now, which means it's, you know, it's the proper way for the angle to actually come up in here and get into our system. Now, just like any other solar storm we talk about, I am sorry about my voice, guys. I'm struggling here with my voice. Just like any other thing we talk about here, we know that the data keeps changing on this no matter what. And they change their model and they do this and do that. So there was a chance that this wasn't going to be completely 100% correct anyway. But judging by, because if this was exactly true with the time frame and what they're showing here, we should have already seen a huge increase in density, and we have not. So this part of this right here, this was generated back on the 8th, early in the day, is wrong. So we have to understand that. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that we're not going to get into storm level or have any issue. It could just be being delayed We don't know. And this is why I say, you know, when we're talking about solar events, it's 93 million miles away, guys. Stuff changes. We don't know exactly how fast it blows off the sun. We don't know the other conditions that are influencing it that could slow it down, speed it up, all the above. Okay? So I just want to point that out first and foremost, because that is definitely not something that, and again, I have to say this, the timing of this is strange. We should not, I mean, the biggest solar event we've had in a very, very long time, and all of a sudden their model goes down? Are you kidding me? I mean, it just doesn't make much sense. And again, I have no way to prove that this is being messed with or not updated on purpose or anything like that. I'm not even trying to make that claim. I'm just saying the timing of it is very strange. Now, if we look at the aurora, which is a really good indication of how hard we're starting to see, you know, particles. If we look at this is definitely showing an uptick in activity, because that's a pretty intense aurora ring. All right, I'll put this in motion so we can look at it a little bit better. Remember that the timing of this matters, because that's going to show what part of the planet takes the brunt of this shot that we're getting from the sun. It's going to matter. And if you were to trust that Enlil model I just showed you guys up here, the timing of this would have brought this initial blast from the coronal hole, it would have brought it over towards us in the United States. Okay? But if it's delayed, now it's going to hit somewhere else. Okay? The initial blast. So if I take this and I move it, you can see how the aurora was just kind of up and down all day and all night. Then it kind of died off. And let me say this too. There is a true anomaly that happens. We will see like a calm before the storm effect. A lot of times with these storms, for whatever reason, we see extremely quiet conditions out in front, and then all of a sudden, smack. I mean, it just gets you out of the blue. So, you know, I'm not sure if there's any science behind that. There might be. You know, with that energy and stuff coming, maybe it kind of displaces some of the particles in a certain way, and you know, because everything's connected magnetically, so it can affect a lot of different things. And I'm just not sure on the science, if there's any science behind why we see kind of a, because you can see what happened here. Look, see, we're kind of ticking up, and then we get real quiet right here, and now that. Okay, so it's kind of easy to see that, but is there any science behind that? I can't give you that answer. I don't know. But what I can say is our electron flux, this is definitely a piece of data that's pointing to more activity, because it's starting to fluctuate pretty good. All right, it's done it now for about, well, a little over 12 hours, 14 hours, something like that. That's significant, okay? Once that stuff starts moving around, it means things are coming, going, you know, it's into our system. But I'm still kind of I'm a little jaded on this one, because we seen this last night, and I thought maybe, because if you were to trust this, the timing of it, if you could picture this without these three bars there, it would look like that timing was exactly correct. Because that's when we should have start seeing the uptick. And I think I might have even said, hey, it looks like we might be starting to see the start of this. But we weren't up in the storm level, and it stopped right there and went right back down. So we're going to have to, like I said, we're going to dig into this. We're going to wait. We got a lot of time here, guys, that, you know, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen and what's going on exactly. But what I do want to do for you guys is show you this other, see, this is the NOAA prediction models, okay? They get their data and stuff virtually from the same places, but if we go over to, excuse me, the NASA site, which would be this, the CME tracker, They're using the same data, but they have a slightly different model. But this hasn't changed since I showed it to you guys the other day. So the timing of it's really close to the Enlil model. It's a little different, but not much. Okay? So, yeah, guys, I mean, if you were just to look at this one model right here, I just don't see both of these models being completely wrong. Now, the timing, like I said, I do think at this point we're going to have to start talking about this one being wrong as far as the timing. Now, as far as the strength of it, you know, that's still anybody's guess. I've always said since the beginning of this that a density of this high, it's kind of that's an extremely high density reading, guys. So, you know, you question whether how accurate that was to begin with. But at the very least, we should have been seeing something increasing there, because I can't see this stuff being that far off. If their model is that far off, they've got issues. I'm sorry, they need to change something there. Because you can't be putting this information out for, you know, morons like me to grab it and look at it and be that far off. It's just extremely irresponsible for something like that if there's a known issue here. And I would have to say that this is probably not the first time this has happened. But again, you know, this could still be correct, but just not in the timing. Just, you know, maybe this has gotten pushed back a day. Who knows? So, yeah. So let me give you guys a little bit of information about what could be happening. You know, when, where, how, all that kind of stuff. This is the seeds site, obviously. I am going to keep you guys the chat up here, so I apologize for moving it around sometimes. But, you know, I'm going to do a little live coverage here, and I want to be able to see if you guys have any questions or whatever. I'll kind of keep it kind of small right there, I guess. I guess that'd probably be the best thing to do. Just kind of keep it like that, I guess. If you guys have questions, just tag me, okay? Or tell a mod. Maybe a mod can get a hold of me, that kind of thing. And by the way, guys, hey Isaiah, how you doing? Isaiah's granny, Ricky. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for modding for me. I really do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. You guys take a lot of the brunt of the attacks sometimes. You guys handle it very well. I've never had a very big issue with anything you guys have done thus far. I do respect the fact that you respect and enforce the rules that I have in my chat. I appreciate that you guys are able to do that, and you've done it really well. So thank you, and all of you. I'm not just pulling out one person there. It's clear to see that you guys are not afraid to use your wrench, and you're not afraid not to use your wrench. And that's what we need. We need to have somebody that can tell the difference between, and not let their personal feelings have them smacking somebody in the face and putting them on timeout when it's really not a rule breaking issue. You know, you guys have done really well with not having people make comments that you just totally disagree with and really just kind of leaving it alone. I think that's a testament to how good of a job you guys are doing. That's hard to do. When somebody comes out and, like, say you have a specific religious belief, and somebody comes up in here saying something stupid that really wasn't a personal attack, but it's just a disagreement on that belief, it's hard for people that have that kind of a passion for that kind of a thing to not act on it when they can. And you guys have shown the exact amount of restraint. You guys, I just can't say enough good about you guys, because I think it is important that we all have a voice, and you guys are helping allow that. So thanks. Anyway, this is the seeds data right now. This is from our view. This is on the Soho Observatory, which is a satellite that sits out in front of the Earth. It's between us and the sun, roughly about 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun. Okay? Well, I'll tell you what. I can show you this. You see this right here? That's the Earth. This is Soho. Okay? And it orbits around the sun right out in front of us. It tags along with us around the sun. It's just a little bit closer. That's it. Now, stereo A and B, it does actually give you kind of an idea of where those are at, too. That's not an exact thing, but it does give you an idea of where that's at. So, that's important to know, too. It's a side view. And it's not a 90-degree side view. It's almost 45 degrees now. I mean, this thing, stereo A, is now getting closer and closer to the Earth. And that was the intent. So, just know that. Sorry about that, guys. Guys, give me a second. I will be right back. Please hang in there. Mods, talk to him for a second. I got to go wake my daughter up. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I had my daughter has to go to the doctor today, and she was sleeping. So she is now awake and getting ready to go to the doctor. Her mom's going to take her. Yeah. So, and again, sorry I had to bail out there for just a couple seconds. Yeah, you got sound, LT. I just wasn't here for a second. Next time that happens, maybe I'll put some music on or something. I'll try to do something like that. But, so yeah. Now, again, this is our view. And we're not seeing a whole lot coming off the sun right now. You can still kind of see some of that residual energy still flowing off. And let me explain. I'll show you. Let's go back 2 days to when this event happened. Okay, so you see all this stuff start to happen, right? And we get the big blast, the big halo, right here, right there. Okay, and you notice how the sun really never stop throwing stuff off. And that's very typical when we get big eruptions like this. Okay, so if we go the next day, which was yesterday, you can still see that it's still pouring out. Okay, something else I want to show you guys here real quick while we're on this day. I'm going to pause it right about there. Now, you guys see how there was almost like a halo looking thing going on here? Okay, like maybe it ejected again and ejected at us. Well, there was an ejection, and it did look like it could have been coming to us, but it's actually going off the backside. So let me show you. See that? That's off the backside. This is stereo A, our view from the side. Okay? So if I go back to the day that we had the big CME and solar flare, and then very shortly thereafter, it erupted off the backside. Okay, and that's something that we see. And I've been talking about that for a while. I don't see a whole lot of other people talking about that. I've been saying this for over a year, close to 2 really, that, people are like, well, it goes off the backside, so why do we have to worry about it? Nobody ever talks about it. Well, if you just look about what I just showed you right here, say, for instance, that there was the big CME that came towards us. What if that one blew off the backside? And it wasn't coming at us, and we knew that, and then we were like started ignoring everything else and not really paying attention, and then we get that 180 effect, and we get this CME on the front side, which would be coming at us. That's why I talk about that stuff. If it was just an eruption off the backside with not much of a chance coming off the front, I probably wouldn't say much. But this is why I talk about that. It's kind of a precursor sometimes to a secondary eruption that could be coming at us if we get one off the backside. That's the reason I talk about it. So if we go to today, which is the 9th, this is what we got right now from the side. And you can still see, if you guys look at this, see how bright this is staying? That's, that's just the residual from everything that's going on. And I seen something back here too that I'm not sure what it is yet. I'm not sure if anybody else has caught this yet, but I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I think it might be a sundiver. I'm not sure yet. On stereo A, this stuff is so highly pixelated, it gets really hard to see. So let me slow this down. I'm going to start it. And if you look at the background stars, okay? You see this? That's a background star. That's a background, well, that one might not have been. Yeah, it probably was, but you can tell that that's a background star, right? It's moving at a certain speed going that way, left to right. Now this big gray box you see right here, if you can see that, that's Venus. Okay? They got that blacked out because it's hard. It makes it hard to see things. See, this is Venus. It doesn't do it on this view, but that's Venus. So I'm down here and I'm looking at this thing and I see a little bit of a shadow moving the wrong direction. Okay, or it's moving what we would call retrograde. It's not going the typical direction that we do around the sun. Right? So we kind of call that retrograde. Basically, it's reverse grade. So if we go over here and we look at it on the difference model, this is what we see. Okay? Not only is that moving in a retrograde fashion, it's moving at an angle like this. That's a pretty good, inclination right there. And you can see a background star right here transiting across, straight across. That's what we would expect to see over here. That, not this. So I'm not quite sure what that is. It doesn't really, and this is another thing that kind of puzzles me, it doesn't really look like it's moving at comet diving speed. So I need to look at some of the star charts and figure out what that is. It could be a known object, guys. I just don't know. So, let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see that. Thanks, IB. I appreciate that. Right here. If it was just moving the wrong, like retrograde, kind of in that straight orbital line like that, I probably wouldn't really put too much into that. But it's moving like that, you guys. You can see it. So I'm not quite sure what that is yet. Now, like I said, if it's not a sun-diving comet, it's probably a known object out there anyway. I just haven't looked. I haven't been able to find it. I haven't looked at any star charts or anything yet. It's just something I noticed right when I went live, so I thought I'd show it to you. Hey Dana, how you doing? Hey Constance. Constance? Sorry. I say consonants like you were some sort of an alphabetic letter. Good to see you from Ireland. Like that. That's awesome. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, guys. And again, it could be nothing, or it could be a sun diver or a known star. It does seem to, I'm not sure if it's moving faster, but it does seem to be moving kind of at the same speed as the background stars. Most of the time with sun diving comets, we'll see them just zip in, and they're kind of like at this angle. I mean, they usually come in at a pretty steep angle. You know, they can come in directly from the side and all that stuff too, but usually when they're down here on the lower, like on the southern part, we see them coming like more of an angle towards the sun. You can see how this one, if it continues this kind of a trajectory, it's going to kind of go right through here. And if it is a sun diver, as it gets closer to the sun, you will see it curve like that. The sun will grab it. And whether or not it brings it into the surface and it actually impacts the sun, or a lot of times some of the known comets that come back over and over and over again, they do that slingshot move around the sun and get shot back out. So that's why you'll see this thing, if it is getting closer to the sun, as it does, you'll see it speed up too. Yeah, it could be I guess it could be an asteroid, but guys, what I want to say here is that would be a planet. I mean, it's almost like a planet-sized asteroid, because this is a background star. Okay, that's the size of it. The only thing that keeps me from saying like it's some big huge object is we just simply don't know how far away from the satellite it is. If that thing is real close to the satellite, it wouldn't be that big. If it's out by the sun or out close going that direction, it would make it bigger. So, you know, that's the disadvantage of using these kinds of models. They're not three-dimensional. We don't get to see depth. And that's what makes the job so hard for anybody trying to look at the path of these things. And I mean anybody. Even the professionals. Sometimes they have trouble tracking these things because of that. Now their modeling's getting so much better that they're getting better. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hello? Hello? Hey. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Bye. Sorry, guys. That was my wife and best friend. She's like I said, she's at work, but my daughter's having some issues. So my daughter's more comfortable with my wife taking her to the doctor. So that's what's going on there. So we will yeah, we'll move on from that. Sorry about that. I hate to get that distraction and stuff, but that's real life, you know. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I thought you guys would like to see that. That was something that, you know, when we talk about sun divers and things, hey Axe, what's up? That would have been hilarious if you yeah, that would have, whoever said that, yeah. Like I said, guys, anybody that doesn't know, I was over at the Mark Pirates channel yesterday. You buffering, are you, Wendy? Is anybody else buffering? Okay, hold on 1 second. There's enough of you saying that, so I'm going to shut some of this off. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's get rid of that one. What's this one? Yeah, this is probably causing half of it right here. I got a lot of movie players running right here, guys. Sometimes that'll eat up my bit rate. I'm going to take that one off there too, guys. We'll come back to that if we need to. I'll pull it back up. I'll leave the Schumann there because that's really not playing anything. Alright. I'll pause this one. Okay, hopefully that helps. At 1249, yeah, the bit rate kind of dropped there a little bit. Okay. No data. Is it good now? Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, guys, sometimes that happens. I pull up a lot of those things so I can save time for you guys. I don't like to, make anybody wait, this, that, and the other. But I just want to make sure, okay, that you guys have a good stream there. Cutting in and out, it sucks trying to watch a video like that. If that happens to me, I usually just shut the stream down because it's, especially if it's bad. So good. Good. What'd you say there? Yeah, I will in just a second. Okay, good. Yeah, thanks for the heads up there. Oh, thanks, Dane. I appreciate that. Really do. Guys, give me one more second here. I need to make sure she didn't fall back asleep. My wife will be hitting me in the head if she does. Alright guys, I'm coming. Man, I tell you what. Anybody out there that has teenagers? Whew, man. If I was to do stuff like that, like teenagers do nowadays, there'd be a lot less teenagers around if my parents were in charge. I can tell you that. It just, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, guys, that's something else I'll talk about here, too. Oh, you sent your teenager to military school? Oh, which one? Just kidding. Yeah, Axe, guys, anybody that's been raising any kind of kids already knows exactly what I'm talking about. But let me tell you something. This is how I look at it. Raising kids is the best and the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. And let me say your life, because that last word is important, because it never stops. No matter how old they get. We're never going to not be there for our kids. You know what I mean? So that's just what happens. At least for me. Those of us that care, that's what happens. So, I've always said if something bad really, really happened, like the baddest thing you could happen to somebody, they might as well just dig a hole right next to them because I'm climbing right in it. I'm done. I'm out. I don't think I can handle it. I really don't. I've had enough loss in my life to understand which ones are hard to lose and which ones aren't, and which ones I think I can handle. I would lose my ever-loving mind. Even the my kids that are really, my two boys are adults, and sometimes we get in arguments just because they're adults. Not always going to agree. But even at that, I would still. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my children. Ever. I don't care how bad, good, whatever anybody thinks about that. I don't, and I feel the same way about my wife also. I guess I would go there with my nephew too. My sister, my mom and dad probably. I don't know. I guess at that point, if you're talking about outside your immediate family, unless it's a child like my nephew, you have to consider that you're still trying to be here for all the other kids too. So, and I know it's a really hard subject to talk about, but sometimes, guys, it needs to happen. It's a hard thing to talk about those kinds of things. Like if you're not going to be around anymore, you have to make plans for your kids. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. And let me tell you why. There's been a few times in the past few years that I thought I wasn't going to make it. And some of the biggest stress I had was worrying about what was going to happen to my kids. And that's just something that we all have to deal with, So I suggest dealing with that before you're put into a situation where you got to make a quick decision on who you want your kids with or whatever, that kind of thing. Be proactive is what I'm trying to say. The Schumann here, guys, remember, this is a regional tool. This is the Russian tool. This signature here was kind of odd. Just saying. That's a long-lasting, higher frequency increase of intensity there that lasted for longer, roughly about a day. Yeah, almost 24 hours. So what's a little odd about that is you have such a big gap between the other consistent hurt level. Okay, you see how you got a big gap here before you start seeing this one? If it kind of blended in like all these are down here in the lower hurt levels, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But, and whatever that means, that could be local conditions causing that. The tool itself could cause it. I mean, there's so many things. And that's why I try not to dig too much into the technical aspect. And I send you guys over to Verte's channel. And he explains it, and explains it great. So, that's why I do that. Now, that was a significant spike there, guys. So, if you were experiencing stuff at that time. Now, remember, I do believe... No, is that Russian time? I'm not sure. I think it is. But you can get to one that's in Russia that actually puts the UTC time there also. So, yeah, probably Ricky makes a good point there, guys. This stuff right here. Hey, Forcing, what's up? This stuff right here affects us emotionally bad. Nobody died, I don't think. Sparkle. Hopefully not. But I'm not sure. Did Ricky, did you lose somebody? I'm trying to... Not sure, guys. But, guys, there's so many studies done on this now. And we cannot, ignore that this does stuff to us. I guarantee you, we could take this spike right here and go over there where this tool is located. And I would almost bet you that the mental health issues, the crime rate, all that stuff goes up. Especially during certain hurt levels and certain durations of events. I've always found it, I'm sensitive to this anyway. Some people are more sensitive to this than others. I'll get ringing in my ears well before a lot of other people will. But when this thing affects me, when I see it, it's when we see these intense spikes that last about 15 minutes to a half hour. and then they're like, then it'll give you a break for like a half hour, then it'll do it again, over and over and over again. It makes you feel like you're bipolar. Because your mood just goes all over the place. At least for me. That's my own personal experience. Now, I know there's other people out there that do experience that, but it's going to be at a different intensity for everybody. So just know that. Oh, you can't sleep, Padme, when it's high? Yeah, for sure. Hey, Virgo, what's up? Missy. Are you bipolar, Missy? Yeah, that's a rough thing to go through. Hopefully, you know, medication and stuff can help you. I'm sure you've been down that road, so I'm sure you're doing what's best for you. That's why I don't usually try to give people like advice on that kind of stuff, because people that are that sick, guys, we have to understand that, you know, when they're going, I don't want to say that sick. I mean, that's the wrong way to put it. When somebody has a condition or whatever, especially if they've had it for a while, I almost guarantee you they went down a lot of the avenues. You know, I know that I did when I was going through my stuff, and I still am every day. But even saying that, it doesn't mean we can't get good information from people that are just trying to help us. And I think we would not be doing the right thing if we ignored somebody or kind of just brushed it to the side. I try not to do that. Now, I'm not going to say I don't do that sometimes, because that's just a normal thing that we all do. But when somebody tries to give you advice on stuff like this, or just trying to, you know, expose you to something that you might not have been exposed to before that could help, listen. Just listen to them. That's all they're asking, because they're truly just trying to help. So, yeah. Let's, hey Darren, what's up? Dale, what's up? Dimitri. Alright, now, we're going to go back here, and we're going to look at some of the magnetopause models, because this is going to be one of the first indications of this stuff is actually getting here. Okay, these things, and I can tell you just by looking at this right now, that something at least small is going on. Oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, we're starting to get some pressure. So, we're probably starting to see the beginning of this. This is the velocity, this is the speed, and it's moving around quite a bit. So, this is just going to do nothing but increase. It should. Anyway. And it is. It's moving around pretty good there. It's not like excessive, but it's definitely, you know, 0 is right here in the middle. So the colors we're looking at when you see the lighter oranges are the slower speeds. When you start seeing this dark red like back here, you know, stuff's moving pretty good. This is density. Now watch what happens here. You're going to see us tilt. Watch. Ah, stupid thing, reset. I hate that when it does that. You'd be halfway through a time lapse and it resets. Here, I'll just do this. See how we're starting to tilt? Watch. See that slight angle that you see? Let me run this back to the beginning. See how we're kind of straight on? And what's happening there is we're probably starting to see some of that energy just get here. Our magnetosphere is actually reacting. And, you know, because of the polarities and things that happen, we get kind of bumped around like that, and we see that. You know, it happens a lot. Not only will we tilt, our magnetics will tilt a little bit, but they don't always tilt in the same direction. They will, you know, sometimes they'll go down, sometimes they'll go up. And depending on which cut you're looking at here, that means it's either going left, right, or up, down. So, now here's the pressure. This is a really good indication of what's actually happening, because you'll see it just build. And it's definitely one of the main key things we can look at to show when we're actually getting significant stuff happening. See what's happening there? That's quite a bit of pressure. So, now, hey Hilly, what's up? Let's go over here. Okay guys, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you guys how to navigate this a little bit. This right, I'm putting this in the chat right now. This is the link to ISWA. Okay? I would suggest you guys grab that link and put it on your desktop or wherever you put your links at. That way you can go look at this for yourself. Okay? I've always encouraged people to do that. And as a matter of fact, when I first started my channel, I was doing that a lot. I was showing people what buttons to click and all that. I kind of got away from that because I started, doing a little bit of different things here. But let me show you guys what to do here. So if you come over to ISWA, this is what you're going to see right up off the bat. None of this is going to be here. Well, let's just do it this way. Right? This is what you're going to see. Right there. That's the default screen. So when we come here, you see the sub-tabs, right? These give you all different kinds of tools to look at. This is one of the most comprehensive websites we can go to for any kind of space weather. You get all kinds of different looks, views, different detectors, different data collection, all that kind of stuff. You can come here and see a lot of it. So if you see, this is the solar tab. So obviously when it says solar, we're talking about conditions at the sun. When we look at magnetosphere tools, we're talking about our magnetic field and our magnetosphere. The stuff that shows us what's going on there and the conditions and stuff around that. Heliosphere. This is around our planet. Okay? Ionosphere. That's our atmosphere. The ionosphere, right? So you guys can read those and go through those if you want. But there's a few that we always show. So if you go here and you go to solar, and you go to page 2 here, the sub tab right here, it shows you SOHO, right? And then it shows you stereo A. So SOHO is the satellite that's right out in front of us. When you are looking at this is seeds. When we look at this, the LASCO C2, that's SOHO. This view right here, this is SOHO. Now, we're looking at it, it's an observatory, guys. It's just on a satellite. So what's on those satellites? Well, there's bunches of detectors, there's cameras, all those kinds of things, right? And these cameras have filters. So if we go back over here to ISWA, where I had you, notice that SOHO also has extreme ultraviolet filters, right? I usually show you this on SDO, and that's right here. So, let me show you a difference here. You see this is SOHO, right? See the angstrom in the extreme ultraviolet light part of the spectrum? It says 171. That's the angstrom, right? This is SOHO. It's blue, right? On SDO, it's the same angstrom. It's showing you the same gases, but it's a different color. So when I say that they're able to just assign this a color just so we have something to look at, this is exactly what I mean. This is the same angstrom that the software they're using here has just been assigned blue on SOHO and yellow on SDO because that's what they chose. It's as simple as that. these satellites, both of these, SOHO and SDO, they sit out in front of our planet. They're roughly the same distance away from the sun from each other. But if we look, I guess I could do this. Hold on. Where the heck did it go? If we look here, okay, SOHO's right here, right? See my cursor? SDO would be right here. That's how close they are. And they both do the same thing. They orbit with us around the sun. Always looking at the sun. So that's the difference. I've made that comment before that they assigned this a color, and I don't know that everybody understood what I was saying. So I just wanted to make sure that this is how I can explain it to you. So if I go back to SOHO again, 284. Okay? 284 on SOHO gives us that color. We may not even get a 284 on SDO. See? So we're able to see, well, what was that? That's 284 on stereo A. That's even on a different satellite. Notice how we get the same kind of views on multiple different satellites. They're using the similar filters. So this one's on SOHO, this one's on stereo A. This is overlooking at the sun on the side. You see the difference in the sunspots? This big bright region you're seeing right here is probably, let's see here, this is stereo A. It's probably this one. If I had to guess. Maybe. I doubt it. That big bright area there we wouldn't be able to see from... Anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that I wanted to show you guys that you can get similar looks from different positions from different satellites. That's why we look at this stuff like that. So, if you came over here, say I did a show, and I said, hey guys, SDO just showed us a big CME. And you come over here to ISWA, and this is what you see, right? You would make sure you're on the solar tab. You would go down to click 4 on the sub tab, and this is the SDO imaging. You can look at any filter you want. Say we want to look at the 131. This is the one that shows us really good imaging of flares usually. The contrast of the color here that we get is really good for showing flares on this particular tool. The 131, the color they gave it, this teal color, really makes things kind of pop. And, well, let me do this too. If you guys ever come over here, you pull this up, you're going to see this down here, right? You see this little movie reel? You hit that. That puts it into movie mode. It's going to give you a time lapse. And how do we set that? You click right there, and you enter in the number of frames. The max you can see is 300 at a time. It will take, wherever you set this slide bar, you'll be able to see 300 frames behind. Okay? So it's going back 300 frames. This right here, it says frames per second. That will be the speed that you set this thing at. You can only go up to 20. You can go as low as 1. You put it on 1, and you're going to see it move really slow. So I always put it at the max because we're able to see movement. So I hit apply, and this is what we get. So hopefully you guys understand that part of it because it's important to know how to do that. Now, let me say this too. You're never ever going to be able to get taught exactly how to use these tools 100%. So my suggestion to anybody that really wants to look at this stuff for themselves, which I highly suggest you do, is you can't screw it up. Come over here and mess with it. Ask people questions if you don't know what you're looking at. That kind of thing. Don't be afraid of this. It's not that hard, guys. You guys can understand it, I promise. If I can understand it, I promise you can. Don't be afraid to make a mistake either. If I see you make a mistake or something, I'm going to tell you in a respectful way because I care about you and what you're knowing and what kind of knowledge you have. I'm not going to be the person that's going to sit in a corner and continue to watch you make the same mistake over and over and over and over again, because that does not make me a good friend or a good person at all. Just because I'm too embarrassed or don't have the balls to come up to you and tell you you're wrong about something in a respectful way. That's an attempt to help somebody. So yeah. Hey Keith, what's up, bud? So I want to show you guys how to navigate that a little bit because, I really want you guys looking at this stuff for yourself. Because that's really what's going to... Guys, if you ever want to be proven anything, you can prove it to yourself. And that's exactly what I suggest people do. Hey, Giggles, what's up? So, now if I want to look at the magnetosphere, I come here, hit this tab. Then I know which ones to go to because I've been here a lot. If I want to look at the KP, look at that. It's right there. Boom. There's your geomagnetism. That's the same thing we see here. It's the exact same chart. It's just on a different website and a different visual. See? This is what I mean. So when somebody tells you, you're not getting, we're not getting data, a tool is down, satellite's not giving you no information. Well, you need to go look at other tools before you make that claim. Because most of the time it ends up being site related. Because these guys, these different views we're getting are coming from different agencies and colleges. So they could be having issues on their end. But they're all getting the data from the same place. So just know that. So that's the KP. You can get there at ISWA if you can't see it on Space Weather. She's ready to go. All right. So, anyway, we come over here and we want to look at the magnetosphere, right? We got to hit the magnetosphere button. Then we go over here. I know to go to 8. I just know that because I come here a lot. You click on it. That's another thing, guys. If you hover over it, it'll tell you exactly what you're looking at. Now, some of that stuff can be hard to understand. But just look up some vocabulary words, ask people questions, all that kind of thing. But don't be afraid of it. Okay? You can understand it. So, this is the magnetosphere tool. You ain't gotta be quiet. It's good. See you, babe. Be careful. Love you guys. Hey, I did Aunt Judy last night. I'll show you guys later. Yeah, my wife and my daughter think I'm crazy. So, anyway. Anyway, so this is the magnetosphere tool. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to do this. And while that's doing that, typically, guys, I'll go up here and I'll get the other magnetopause tools ready. Oh, yeah, guys, that's the other thing. You see how fast that was moving? I set it too fast. So I usually set that at 3 on this one. So I'm going to pause that. And then, again, hit the movie tool here. Same thing on all these, alright? Take that all the way to the end. Click the down drop button. Change the number of frames to 300, which is the max. Leave that at 3 and hit apply. And then it'll load. Okay? I'll do that again with this one, just so you guys can see it. All this stuff is virtually the same way to get to the data, okay? So just, again, hit the movie tab, hit pause, is what I do, and then slide it over, change that to 300, and hit apply. It's that simple. Now let me say something here too. If you start running a bunch of these movie tools at the same time, it's going to be slow. Just like what it was causing buffering earlier, remember? That's exactly what happens. So let me pause all that. And so this is what we got around our planet right now. Remember the tilt I showed you guys over here? We're seeing it here too. It's the same tilt. Just remember that this one, the sun's off to the left. That's why it's tilted that direction. The sun's off to the right in this one, and that's why it's tilted that direction. It's showing you the same thing. Hey, Nacho, what's going on? I love your TikTok stuff you and Axe do over there. You guys crack me up. It's great stuff. If you guys haven't been over to Axe's channel, you need to. It's funny. Funny and good music. Good music. You guys do a good job over there. I like the little niche you guys got going over there. I really do. So, let me grab this, and we'll keep moving this. Also, guys, you can use your mouse here, but if you click on that and then take your hand off the mouse and use your arrow keys, it's easier in my opinion. I know I'm going into some pretty good detail there, but it makes it easier, guys, for people that haven't been over here. So anyway, if you look at your timestamp, see how we started getting a little bit of something there? I do think that that's probably the initial, hey, we're starting to see stuff. Because that's our bow shock. It's getting all contorted in all kinds of crazy ways right there. Alright? Huckleberry, that's what I'm saying, guys. I don't know exactly where we're going to be facing when it really hits us. And hits us directly on. It could be happening right now. I don't know yet. We're looking at it. So, as you can see here, you can see the energy hitting us and going and leaving there. Okay? And now watch what happens here. You guys see that? Watch right here. You got to ask yourself what causes that. That is, it's just when I see stuff like that, people want to tell me that ain't nothing, strange going on, or that, we do see these kinds of crazy looking signatures when we get hit real hard in the front, okay? It will cause our magnetosphere to do some really strange looking things. It doesn't mean that it's the craziest thing we've ever seen. It just means that we just got a good hard hit in the front. But other times when we don't see the hit in the front and we start seeing this stuff happening, then that's when you really need to look at it. Notice where the increased pressure is. It's angled. You got to ask yourself why. Why down here? That's most likely because that's the angle that it's coming in at. Alright? When we look at the BZ, like I've told you before, when it's in negative, right here, that means that the angle's conducive for it to come on into our system. But also when we're getting pulled one direction or the other. If we're above or below the ecliptic, matters. If you guys don't know what the ecliptic is, this right here, this is the sun, right? The equator of the sun. If you take the equator of the sun and you stretch it out infinity, right? Anything above that is called above the ecliptic. Anything below that's called below. So it's basically the equator of the sun stretched out throughout our whole solar system. And each planet is in a different position, above or below that ecliptic, or even on the ecliptic. We actually fluctuate, guys, at different times of the year. We're not in a perfectly horizontal rotation around the sun. A lot of people think we are. We're not. We go above and below it a little bit. So, I just like to put that out there. So when we see these kinds of things, you know, sometimes it's odd, but we have to take in consideration what's actually real too, and that we know is happening, and take that and put that into our mind process of what we're trying to figure out. Now, if you look at this too, guys, this is our satellite line. Notice how this pressure is getting pushed on the front and the back. It makes it look like an egg. When we see that, a lot of times we start seeing earthquakes happening. So I'll go forward here. And I'm gonna explain something here too that we're probably gonna see a lot of during this whole thing. See how we're kind of see how it's kind of out here right now? You see this? Now watch as I go forward. See how we compressed? So we're getting hit in the front right there. Alright? I know that it doesn't look like it's a big massive anything, but this is what this tool looks like when we're getting hit. It's pushing on us pretty good right here. So what are we doing? We're trying to push back. Watch. Okay? And then we get... See how we push back out like that? So we get compressed. Let's just run this back a little bit. And then we go forward in time, and we're pushing back. And we push, that's called rapid expansion, how we're pushing back right there. And then we get hit again. And that process will continue to happen. Now, this is the latest capture we got right now. It says 828. This thing's running behind too. Let's reset that. Let's see what we get here. Maybe I did that wrong. Let's check that, because that didn't look... Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So... There's where we were at. Right there. 828, right? So we'll go forward, and look what's happening here, guys. Hit after hit after hit. Okay, and that's where we're at now. Now, I have to say that doesn't look too excessive. I have to say that, because it doesn't. It doesn't mean that it's not, though. Notice how a lot of this energy is getting inside our satellite line. That means it's coming down closer to us. Hey, Lark, what's up? How's it going down there in Okeechobee? You know what I'm saying? Dark times coming. You know, I'm going to talk about that for a second. That's an interesting comment. You know what I would say? Yes, there's going to be, let me say this, there's trying times coming. The times, you know, in your life, in my opinion, what makes it dark is how you handle it. You can take a really bad situation and have the time of your life with it. I know that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their brain around, but I try to do that in my own life. So, and there's a lot of ways to get there. There really is. A lot of ways to get back to happy. And I have to say this. Happiness is a choice, guys. It's not guaranteed, and it's not given to us. Yeah, I know you're there with me, Lurk. I know you are. And that's, and again, there's sometimes I feel like, dark times are here. But even if it was like a dark time, we have to choose to, put light on that. It's a choice. At the end of the day, guys, it's a choice. Oh, I know you are, Lurk. I wasn't saying anything there about you, bud. I just thought that comment was interesting because I feel like that sometimes too. And I think everybody in here does. And I'm just explaining how I handle it. Because I guys, I say all this stuff and I'm being real with you and how I feel. But I didn't always think this way. It took a while to get me here. And I went through a lot of stuff. And I handled it in a whole lot of different ways. And through all that, through that experience, I figured out that all of it, and I mean all of it, is a choice. All of it. The state of our mentality, unless you have a physical issue that can be, that can actually cause issues, at the end of the day, we choose what mental state we stay in. Let's just be real. Sometimes we sit back and we feel sorry for ourselves. All of us do it. I do it. I see everybody else doing it. And sometimes it takes somebody to walk by and look at you dead in your face and say, "Quit feeling sorry for yourself, you idiot. Get your butt off the couch, get happy, and let's go do something." It takes that sometimes. Because we can get into a rut, is what they call it. And sometimes it takes somebody to really smack us across the face with some truth. Even though it might be hard to hear. Well, thanks, Lurk. I just, it's one of those things, guys, where I see so much in this world, and I know everybody else sees it too, that there's so much bad, but there's more good. And if people can realize that, if people can actually start seeing what I see there, I see it in my chat. I see it with you guys. I mean, how many people we got in here right now? We've got 400, almost 500 people in here right now, right? Every one of you is putting a smile on my face right now. Because you're here. It's as simple as that. That's causing me to feel good. Because you guys are here listening to what I have to say. And that makes me feel good. So, if I'm able to give that back to you by any way, shape, or form, I will. But at the end of the day, it's your guys' choice to be here. It's my choice to listen and look at you guys and talk to you guys. You see where that word choice comes in? It's a choice. Everything is a choice. You choose to be what you are. Whether people are living a free, quote unquote, free country, this, that, and the other, it is still a choice. People have a choice. Even when they're told they don't. They do. And it really sucks sometimes. Image of a human in the sun. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that look at that kind of stuff. I don't really, and I'm just being honest with you guys, it's not that I don't think it ain't significant. I just don't look at that a whole lot. And the reason why, and let me say this too, and I know this might sound, I don't want it to come across the wrong way. I'm not trying to offend anybody that actually does this, because I think some of the stuff we see in the sky that shows up some shapes and this and that of, people, faces, this, that, is very, very relevant to what we got to talk about. But a lot of times, we got to understand we get in our own minds. And if you just do this one time for yourself. You guys ever seen those ink blot tests that psychiatrists will give you? You flash it up and it looks like a butterfly to one person, and the other person you flash it up and it looks like whatever else. Look like an eagle or whatever, something like that, right? I think we do that in our own mind's eye sometimes when we're looking at things. Especially when we're looking at it for a long period of time. Sometimes we start seeing stuff there that we didn't see before. And sometimes we can our imagination can kind of grab us, and it might take us in the wrong direction. So that's kind of what I'm saying, Yeah, the Rorschach ink blot test, yeah. And they do that for a reason, because it does show where people's psyche is. Let's see here, what's it say? Oh, no. Hey, electrician, listen, I'm not saying that, guys. I'm just taking the comment and telling you how I feel about a certain subject. Don't ever take it personal, guys, because it's not for me. It's never personal. And if I insinuated that on accident, I apologize, because that's not what I intended to do. So yeah, and I'm not even talking about looking at the sun. I'm talking about looking at the clouds, looking at this. I remember being a kid, and our kids don't do this enough. I used to go out to our local park, lay on the ground, look up, and start seeing what kind of shapes I could see in the clouds. And we'd start pointing it out. We'd say, hey, buddy, can you see that one like I'm seeing it? That kind of thing. And sometimes, it just... Oh, no, I'm not saying that it's... Okay, see, now I've misrepresented myself. I'm not saying that it's bull. What I'm saying is sometimes we can see things that other people can't. And sometimes we can see things that aren't actually there. So you have to be kind of really precise on what you're saying and what you're doing when you're looking at stuff like that. And I've seen whole channels being ran off of, I seen a face here, I seen a face there. It's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around it. I'm kind of on the fence on all that, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Which sun picture was it? Do you remember? We'll go take a look at it. Was it that one? Let me know if it was that one. Hey, Monty Mark. Hey, I appreciate that, Chris. I really do. Electrician 718. Is this the sun picture you're talking about? Trying to see what did you say you seen in it? Let me go back here and look. Image of a human in the sun. Okay, we'll look for it. In the middle. I'm gonna back that off a little bit, because sometimes if we back it off, we'll see it better. I'm trying to see if I can see it. You see it, shits and giggles? Yeah, Axe. I do the same thing. I'll see eyeballs and all kinds of like jack-o'-lantern looking stuff. It's funny, but I do. You see a face? You see, actually, what's going on right here is exactly what I actually just said. No, you're not crazy at all. I'm telling you. I see stuff in this thing all the time. We actually were just saying that. Sometimes we see like a jack-o'-lantern face or whatever. But yeah, so this is actually, this is good because everybody's seeing exactly what I just said. Everybody is seeing different things in here right now off of the same capture. Hey, PLS, what's up? Good to see you from Colorado. Yeah, Bear, I think that's kind of what I was saying. You put it in better words than what I did. It's our mind's eye and how we see it. That's a very good way to put it. Thanks, Bear. Hey, Tab. It's like an ultrasound of a baby. Hey, see? Body and soul. Hey, what's up? You see your ex? Run, rebel, run. Just kidding. Oh, goodness. Hey, Angelo. All right. Somebody tell me who my mod is right here. They're changing their names on me. I see lady eyes with eyelashes. I kind of see that. I kind of see what you just said there. Zoom in closer? Okay. Daggone it. There we go. Thanks, Body and Soul. I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun with that. You can probably hear in my voice that I kind of lost my voice a little bit. Yeah, I can't go in much further, guys. It won't let me. That's as max as I can get. Yeah, I kind of see that. I think I'm seeing what you guys are saying. But yeah. So that's, guys, and I'm glad that we actually did this because it does help people understand that sometimes I see something and other people don't. Sometimes they see something and I don't. So I like to keep that in mind because it definitely is something that is different for every person. Now, guys, let me show you this right here real quick. There is an uptick in the solar wind speed right now. And it went up and it's staying there. That, you know what that's telling me? That's telling me that wind stream we were expecting is now here. Okay, that's from the coronal hole. The CME will probably be behind that, very close to behind that. Now, again, we're going to have to pay attention to this because, again, I wish this thing would update. It hasn't updated since the 8th. So, yeah. Okay, now look. See, this is confirming what I just said. You see this? The new data came in just now for the geomagnetic activity for the last 3 hours. And it went from a 0 to a 2. So it's jumping up pretty quick. And that would be from that. I would look for this to continue to move up. So probably what's happening here, in my opinion, is this. Let me explain. Even though the timing of this is off, just kind of ignore the timing. I want to use this as just something to show you what's going on. The uptick we're seeing is probably the inclination right here. So we're going to go up to a certain level. We'll kind of probably max out a little bit. We may even come back down a little bit more. And then we're going to get hit with that CME. Okay? So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Now, if the timing of that CME comes before we expect it to, what you're going to see, this is all going to blend straight in together. You're going to see an uptick of this. The density is going to shoot up. All the above. Okay? And it's going to go from, like right here, it'll bounce up real quick. But if it's that solar wind stream at first, and it takes a minute for the CME to get here, we're going to see a slow increase. Well, we'll see a moderate increase. But if we jump straight up to storm level this next time this thing updates, I would have to say that that's probably the CME getting here. So, let me reset this. And let's go up here. And see, they still haven't changed their prediction. They're still saying here on the 9th, we're going to get into G1. Now remember, that's UTC time. This is where they're at UTC. They've only got 6 hours before UTC goes to the next day. So within the next 6 hours, they think we're going to be into storm level. And yes, it's on the rise. You can see it right here. That's a perfect indication because, and this is showing, this is confirming that. Right here. Now, what's puzzling me is the fact that the density is not going up. This is showing a huge density spike. And we're not seeing that. So that could pan well for us. If we don't see that big density spike, you know, we may not get much past the G1 storm, which is good. It's like I've been saying since the beginning, since I've been talking about this, that, you know, we got a G1 here. I hope we don't get into that G3. You know, I hope the data was incorrect. I hope that, you know, the stuff that we were talking about is incorrect. Or it just comes back a little different than what we initially thought. Okay? But I am confident that we're going to get into storm level. How high or how big that goes, that we're going to have to wait. And we all know that this is a full halo CME, guys. When it hits us, it's almost 100% given that we're going to get into some sort of geomagnetic storm. That's just what happens, okay? So, let's look at this again real quick. Now, I'm going to zoom in here, and this is actually showing an increase, and I'm going to explain some things here with this solar wind map. Excuse me, sorry. Sun's off to the right. Now, you guys know we look at this, and we look at, that's the solar wind speed. Just a second, guys. Hello? I'm telling you what, I'm tired of these freaking telemarketers. So, we look at this and we see a solar wind increase, right? That's 781. That's fast. Okay? Now, if this is to be correct, why do we go here and this wind speed is only showing 460, and this is giving us pretty, you know, quick data too. These are dots. Each dot is a data point. So we look at this, and then the ACE data is giving us 460 roughly. We go up here, and the NOAA site itself is giving us 459. So why is ISWA, or I don't even say ISWA, this particular model here showing a wind speed of 781, where we see that nowhere else? That's why I don't trust the speed of that. But what I do trust about this speed section is we can tell when it's actually going up and down. I just don't think the actual number we're seeing is, you know, 100% accurate. So, let's grab this thing. And see how it went down real quick? So that would be kind of like a little blast we got, 781, and then went right. It's going to go right back down real quick, like. See that? And then we even see that. 1045. Do you guys understand that 1,045 wind speed is over 2 million miles per hour? For about every 400 kilometers per second, which is what this is saying, 400 kilometers per second, roughly about a million miles per hour. It went up to 13. Do you see that? That's 3 million miles per hour. Over 3 million miles per hour. But that is showing us getting hit. I do believe that it's showing a hit there. I just don't think we got that high in the speed. That's all. So if we keep moving here, you can see how the density and stuff's changing. Those are hits from the sun. Notice how the arrows are all still staying pointing in that direction? That's what they should do. You have to ask yourself, when you see these arrows start pointing towards the sun, what is strong enough to push against the sun? To actually make the solar wind go the other way. You have to ask yourself that, because it's, yeah. You know, when we look at our solar system, what's the biggest, most powerful object? The sun. So we have to have something, you know, some sort of other electromagnetic field affecting that. Have to. It's a given. Now notice what I just said. You see this one? These two arrows are now pointing that way. But what's going on here is kind of swirling. Alright? You can kind of see that. See how it's going this way? Then you go over here on top and it's going this way. We see that a lot. We'll get hit and then, you know, our magnetosphere interacts with the solar wind. So it causes kind of like a magnetic vortex or a tornado, if you will, that kind of spins on off. We see that a lot. So there is an uptick here, but it's not nothing. Now right there on the end it kind of did. It kind of bulged out there a little bit. So again, I do think that this is going to uptick and continue to do that. We'll probably see this thing get a little crazy as the night goes on. Just so you know. So if I go this way. Now, you guys see, I want you guys to understand that the blue lines here, those are IMF lines. Interplanetary magnetic field lines. That's our connection to the sun and other celestial objects. So when we see these blue lines start doing some crazy stuff, we have to wonder what's going on, right? Now, if we get a big smack, every magnetic line on here is going to go nuts. That's a given, guys. It doesn't mean anything else is going on other than a big shot we just took, okay? When we want to look at it when it's doing weird things is when we don't see the hit from the sun and weird things are happening at that time. If we can trace it back to the sun, you know, that kind of answers most of the questions. Now, we have to understand that, you know, at least the way that I believe, is that we have objects out there by the sun affecting it magnetically, which in turn affects all this stuff too. So that's just, you know, again, that's what I believe. That's what the observations that me and Scott have shown you, those objects and stuff out there, that's what I think is, you know, adding to the distortion on what we see. Okay? You know, and there, like I said, when I show you guys those captures that Scott has been getting with all that stuff, it's I just let it speak for itself. We have to understand if that, you know, like I said, with that thing being there, that electromagnetic field it has is interacting with the sun's, just like we're interacting with the sun's solar wind is interacting with our magnetosphere here. And the solar wind gets here on these blue lines, guys. That's the road that it travels. So when we see it piling up in the front, that most likely means we're getting a push, right? So then we see that crazy looking squiggly stuff we see when we get hit. It's easy to see that we got hit. See? So what I'm saying is that if we see these squiggly lines without getting hit first, that's when you really need to look at them. And Ricky makes a good point too there too. It is, yes, it's related to, everything's related to a pole shift. That's definitely something that we have to take in consideration anytime we have any kind of subject. But we also have to understand that the pole shift is actually affecting things too, but there's things actually affecting the pole shift itself. So it's kind of, yeah. Again, it's one of those symbiont circle kind of things. It's all affecting each other. And unfortunately, now see, look at that. That's some crazy magnetic signatures, guys, okay? That kind of chaos, it's chaos. It's exactly what that is. But we did take a hit right before that happened. You can see that. But it didn't look to be that significant a one, so I don't know. And remember that, this is our bow shock. When things happen behind here, our electromagnetic field has already blocked a lot of the solar wind. So anything behind here is reacting to something that is not taking the full brunt from the sun. Because our bow shock has already done that. It's already hit, it's deflecting it, and sometimes that's exactly what we're seeing back here, is that deflection. So when you see that, those are our pole lines. All right, now there's questions on what causes all that. The pole lines come off our poles, obviously, right? They really should just come out and go stretch straight back. That's what they should do. But obviously things affect them just like it affects every other magnetic connection we got going on. And there's a lot of theories on what's going on there. A lot of strong belief on what's happening there. I'll say this. What I believe, when you see it back that far and it starts back that far, you have to wonder where that's actually coming from. Look at all them IMF lines pile up back there. Remember what I said. The IMF lines is our connection to the sun and other celestial objects. So when you see a massive amount of IMF lines back here, you wonder what's going on. Then everything kind of goes back to normal. So, I mean, that's just what we see. Right? Yeah, Ellie. Igor's been around for quite some time. He's over in, gosh, I can't remember what country he's from. It's over there, Yugoslavia, I think, maybe. Might be correct. I think he's in Croatia. That's where he's from. He's from Croatia. He's been around for a long time, guys. Igor has. Yeah, Croatia. You're right, Rodzor. Yeah. Those of us that have been here for You want to unplug everything, huh, Jill? Yeah, I would just like I would any other day, Jill, I would just have it plugged into a surge protector. I do that anyway. Most people do. What we're going to see with this kind of event, we're not talking Carrington event stuff, guys. Okay? It's not saying that we can't have a power surge, because we could. But it is going to matter where that hits. And right now, guys, hey, Rogue, right now I can't tell you when it's going to hit what part of the globe, because the data that we're seeing, this right here, it's not updating. But I can judge by this data to say that stuff is starting. Okay? That's what I would say. And we can also go up here and we can look at our geomagnetism is starting to uptick at a rapid rate. So that's usually an indication that we're getting ready to see some of this stuff start going on. Plus, up here, if you go to their predictions, they're still saying G1 by the end of the day, and possibly a G3 by tomorrow, and then back down to a G2. Something else that often happens when we see these events, people forget that the sun's still out there doing stuff. Okay? Let me address that, Ellie. They say later today or tomorrow expect a huge runaway of atmosphere to get blown or squeegeed off. Let me say something here. If our atmosphere is getting squeegeed off, you're going to see severe, and I mean severe, conditions happen immediately. It won't be something that happens tomorrow or 5 years down the road. If we lose significant parts of our atmosphere all at once, you don't want to be there. So we have to understand that we have an electromagnetic field out here in front of us. Okay? So before it can actually get to our atmosphere and like start ripping parts of our atmosphere out of here, it's got to get past our electromagnetic field. And for that to happen, yeah, it's going to take a lot. It's going to be something that's going to have to happen over a period of time. It's not going to be an initial blast that just completely rips our atmosphere at all. Hey, Russell, how you doing, bud? Yeah, that's okay, man. Whenever you get a chance, man, if you want to call me, I can try to help you out. Here, let me, and I'll address that too, Ellie. The cosmic ray thing. What she's asking here, guys, or she's making a statement. Sorry, reported already on space weather, and I'd say the current weather systems are getting very severe. Derechos are a direct hit. A lot of that, like when you're saying about the cosmic rays, very high cosmic rays, I can go back and I can show you multiple days in a row where we had a higher cosmic ray rate than what we're seeing right now, and nothing happened. So I question the whole cosmic ray immediate blast thing that we see. There's going to have to be a whole lot of other things that happen all at once, is what I'm trying to say. Not just one thing is going to cause it. Yeah, I mean, you can go over to Null School and you can look at that. And again, guys, she's talking about some theory stuff there too. There is a lot of good theories out there about what's going on with that. Our jet stream can get messed up by a lot of different things. And there's always going to be an argument there on both sides, all sides, people talking about this, that. I'm going to have an opinion. Ellie's going to have an opinion. Tab's going to have an opinion. Awakening's going to... I mean, that's just... Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get you, Ellie. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, I'm not willing to tell everybody that our atmosphere is getting ripped away. That's just what it is. Oh, I watch it every day. I've been a weather buff since I was a kid. I've seen the jet streams. Me and Scott talk daily. I consider Scott an expert on the jet streams. We see a lot of different things happening there. And a lot of different things affect it, including what you just said there. Cosmic rays do. They do. They affect all that. But it's not just one thing that causes it. It's a whole lot of other things. And I guess what I'm saying here is that we can't take one thing and say that it's really that only one thing happening there. There's a lot of things that happens there to cause those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there. I understand. I've been on boats all my life too, and I know exactly what you're talking about with wakes. So it's a very significant thing. Cosmic rays are a very significant thing we need to talk about. It is definitely something that does affect us. It does affect everything. It affects a lot of things. But like I said, I have to say that, cosmic rays are definitely something that does get overlooked a lot. And I don't think it's given the credit that it deserves sometimes too. They do issue alerts, and I tell you guys about that. When we're up here and we get low geomagnetic activity, this is where I would ask about the cosmic ray thing, because geomagnetic activity actually deflects those cosmic rays. So if we're having high geomagnetism, the cosmic ray stuff isn't really such a risk. Not until this geomagnetic activity hits the basement again. Yeah. That's, she's saying something there too about the radars. We have to understand that space weather does affect our local weather. Okay? It can. There's cracks in our magnetic field everywhere. All over the planet. Yeah. Ricky makes a good point there too. It is, I guess what I'm saying is the cosmic ray thing is more of a continuous addition to our what Ricky's saying there, radiation, induction heating, that kind of thing. It's not so much a blast. Now we can get blasts of them, but the only time that those blasts happen is when our geomagnetism isn't there, when we're down really low. Because if we have geomagnetism hanging around, it deflects that stuff. That's why I tell you guys we need to be in the middle so we can defend ourselves against these cosmic rays, but at the same time we're not getting so high geomagnetism that we have electrical issues and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, I'm not going to get into that subject, Anthony. I appreciate you, Jill. let's see here. What'd you say that time? Some comments are stars, so they blast us as they swing by. You watch the evidence of these bodies all day and don't see it, and don't yet see it. I would disagree. That's just kind of where I'm going to leave it, because yeah, I'm not going to go into that subject, because it would cause me to have to just completely destroy somebody's theory, and I'm not interested in doing that, because at the end of the day, that's a theory. Just like everything we talk about here is a theory. Yeah. I'm not saying we don't see some stuff. We're lied to about a lot of things. And some of that stuff you said right there is definitely, some of that is probably true. It's just that, we can have all the evidence in the world, but there's no way we can 100% say that that's happening, It's just my opinion. Because there's a lot of stuff that can be causing all those issues. And I do think it's all of it. But I do think that you have a great point with the cosmic rays being part of it. I do. I think it's a big chunk of it. And again, that's my opinion. That's all I'm saying. Now, as far as I guess since you said his name earlier, Igor, and how he was showing stuff over in Croatia and stuff, from his location and looking at star charts, and he's done a lot of research, okay? The guy has dedicated his life to all that. I don't question that at all. I don't question, what'd you say there? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep up. Oh, I wouldn't laugh at you, Ellie. I get what you're saying. What you see with your eyes, yeah. Let me say something about that. This goes straight back to, this is why I'm glad Electrician brought that up earlier, when we were talking about this, and what everybody's seen in this. And if you went back and looked at the chat, or just was paying attention at that time, anybody that was listening could see that we were talking about, everybody was seeing something different right here. Everybody was. So, yes, I would never tell anybody to doubt what they see with their own eyes. But if I don't see it with mine and I'm standing right next to you, it's hard for me to say that that's what it is. That's all. And I get it. I really do. So I have opinions that people don't agree with either. Oh, I see what you're saying. I do. I get it. Yeah, that's an image. But I could take this away and I could walk outside and I could look up at the clouds and we could all look at the same cloud, but all of us is going to see something different. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm using this image as an example. That's it. And like I said, I don't want you to feel like I'm coming at you, because I'm not. I'm just giving you my opinion on what, that part of it. And I understand that, like I said, Igor's done a lot of research. He's done a lot of different things. He has. He's been in this game for a long time. And I guess what I would say, and I don't want this to come out wrong, because I don't know Igor personally. I've never talked to him. I watch him sometimes. I used to watch him a lot. I don't so much anymore. But sometimes we get into our own theories and stuff and we start researching, right? And then we all do this. Excuse me. But when we do that, then we come out here on the internet, and just like myself, I do the same thing. And I say, hey, I think this is what's going on. The difference is, here's the difference. is that when I understand that I can be wrong, okay? And that's why I'm so reluctant to say something's 1,000% truth. And when somebody shows me evidence on the other side, I don't refuse to look at it. I just have to be honest. I see that happening over there. And I get it. And I don't want to say anything bad about Igor, because I think he does it. You know, he's done a lot of research and put a lot of his life into this. He really has. So I'm not going to go any further with that, because I'm not going to. I don't want to. That's not my intent. I respect the fact that he has his own opinions. I guess that's kind of where I'll leave it, because, and the issue is that a lot of that doesn't get reciprocated. That's the issue. So if I was to come out here, just an example, and I'm not saying anybody, I'm not pointing out names at all here. If I came out here and said that, hey guys, the sun's purple today. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but just hear me out here. If I walked outside and I looked up and I said, hey, the sun's purple, and then I refused to hear anything else that anybody had to say that had anything, different to say that the sun wasn't purple, it'd be kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it? But I see that on so many different other channels, that and so many other different things. And, but yeah. Hurt feelings? On me? I don't know what you're talking about there. I've never talked to him, ever. I don't bring feelings into this at all, especially when I'm talking about stuff like this. That's what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying here it's not a personal thing on anybody, ever. I don't do that. It's just when I see a flaw in somebody's reasoning, whoever that person is, and I don't agree with what, was being said, it doesn't have to be that my feelings are hurt. It's just that I just simply don't agree. I guess that's kind of where I'm at with it, But again, like I said, back to your point about the cosmic rays, I do think that's a very good point. I do think that a lot of that has a lot of validity. I guess the last thing I'll say about that is the second that we think we know everything on any subject at all is the second we stop learning. And it's not hard to see people that do that. It's not at all hard to see. I don't have to point names out. I don't have to point channels out, because people see it. They see it straight up most of the time. And it's just one of those things. And yeah, Axe says it right there. Just showing us the data we have. Anything else is just opinions. And opinions are great. Makes us keep thinking. Exactly. And, it's like this too. Like when I show you observation. An observation of what Scott's showing out by the sun. Right? To me, that's 100% there. That's what I'm seeing it with my eyes. It's hard to deny that. I'm seeing it with my eyes. Just like what you said earlier. You're seeing it with your eyes, so you can't deny it. I'm not going to, that's what I said. I think that object is there. In my mind, I know that object's there. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm saying. And that's why I leave that stuff for people to figure out on their own. Because no matter what I say or what I do, even though I believe that thing is 100% there, I cannot force anybody to believe what I think. And the only way to kind of get them to even entertain what I'm showing them is to back off of it a little bit, show them what I'm seeing, and allow them to research it themselves. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know. And like I said, none of that was even about Igor at all. I mean, I think, like I said, I've never even talked to Igor. I watched his channel a lot at the beginning of my research and stuff of what I was doing here. I've seen a couple of his shows ever since. And I know that he talks about a lot of the comment stuff. What was the one comment he talks about that he thinks is Nibiru or Planet X or something, whatever. I can't remember what comment, what number he puts on that, but he talks about that. You know, and that's what it is. You know, that's what he does. And I don't know him personally, so I don't have an opinion on who he is as a person at all. And I'm not going to comment on his research. It's just not something I do. There you go, Michelle. Yep, Catalina C210 or something. It's one of the Catalina comments. I know that. Thank you for for telling me that. I forgot it was called that. Okay, cool, Mighty Mark. Yeah, I know, Jerry. I got you. I get it. I just I try to. I don't want anybody to get offended, and I know that when I have a different opinion, and I voice that, even though I put it out there like this, people do get mad at me, and it's not. I don't intentionally go at anybody ever, and I didn't go at her either. I'm not sure if she's still in here or not. She probably left because she sounded like she got mad at me. Ellie's a good person. She's in here a lot. And I do agree with the cosmic ray thing. I think it has a lot to do with what's going on. But the cosmic rays get in when our sun is weak. And when our geomagnetism is up, the cosmic rays get deflected. That's just what happens. That's why they don't issue the alert until the cosmic rays are really, really low for an extended period of time. And you know, one thing I'll say right here before I move on, I completely, utterly appreciate the passion that Ellie was, you know, putting out there. She believes in something, and she's standing there saying, "This is why." She gave me reasons why she believes that. She didn't just make a blanket claim and walk away. That's why I respect her. The ones that I don't respect are the ones that drop in a comment and run. She stood there and she was explaining to me what she thought and why she thought that. I completely respect that. I really do. Iron sharpens iron. I have something to add. She has something to add. We can make each other better. That's what I'm trying to say. If somebody comes in, says something, and runs, they're not getting any better. And it's not going to make me any better either because I'm not going to listen to it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So we'll move on. That's enough of all that jazz. But, yeah, she's not a troll. Not at all. She's a good person. She's in here quite a bit. And that's what I'm trying to say. I respect that she came in here, gave her opinion. And, you know, unfortunately, I think it looked like she kind of got a little mad there on the end. I didn't mean for it to be that way. But I hope I didn't come across like that. I wasn't trying to be. I don't get my feelings hurt, just so people know. Not usually. If I get my feelings hurt, I'll tell you. Hey, that kind of hurt my feelings. Now, when somebody comes in here and starts calling me names and stuff, I'm human. Yes, it's going to hurt my feelings, just like it would you. But when we're talking about theories and stuff like that, you know, it's just one of those things that I don't get my feelings hurt when somebody has a different opinion and is voicing it. Wages, are sunspots good or bad? Both. Let me explain. What if she's right? Then she's right. And if she is right, then it will be proven on the end. Promise. That's a very legitimate statement. Question. What if she is right? That's why I don't just totally disagree with what she's saying. She brought me some, I haven't really seen like visual what she's saying, but I know what she's saying. Because I've seen some of that research. Not all of it, but could we get an EMP if the CME get that dense? Let me answer the sunspot question first. The sunspot question. When we get sunspots, what's a sunspot do? It adds X-ray. Okay? All that stuff, it adds, it shows you that the sun is healthy. Okay? Now, a lot of bad things happen around sunspots. Any kind of bad thing we talk about, excluding coronal holes, they're more apt to happen around sunspots. The percentage of CMEs and solar flares that we get is so much higher around a sunspot than where it is elsewhere. We have to understand that we can get a solar flare, we can get a CME, we can have a filament release, a solar storm, without having a sunspot nowhere near it. Okay? But the percentage of the time is really, really low compared to the amount of times it happens via a sunspot. So that kind of answers that one. I hope that helps. What was the other question? I'm sorry, I forget who asked that. Oh, EMP. Okay. The EMP thing. A CME and an EMP is basically the same thing. Okay? The reaction that we get from either one is the same. Now, just like we have, like, an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. A CME is a coronal mass ejection. An electromagnetic pulse is charged particles pulsing. A big blast of them. Okay? A CME is a big blast of charged particles leaving the sun. So when they get here, they can produce similar results. Now an EMP is going to be something that has to be detonated by something, unnatural. So that's something we talk about because we oftentimes go to weapons and things like that when we talk about that. But yeah, so we, like I said, the CME stuff that comes from the sun can cause similar effects. Angel makes a comment there about the meteors. It says I have the live feed of the Meteor channel. That's a good live feed to go to. Will it show us anything that's going on from the sun? No. Okay. What that's showing you is simply just meteor showers. And really, we can go to that real quick. I can show it to you guys so you guys can get a look at it. I haven't shown it in a while. Oh, and by the way, let me say something here real quick, too. I know what it is. I came here to hear about CME. Ain't heard anything yet. Just jabbering. I was talking about CMEs and stuff from the beginning. of the live stream. Just so you know. Yes, we got sidetracked, but this is a live show that we're talking about multiple subjects. And you can only say so much things about one subject. I'm sorry you missed it. I'm not coming at you, but just understand that that's what happens. I think this, what we're getting ready to do here, see, it's live. You see this right here, guys? Live meteor live stream. I'm going to hit this, and then I'm going to push mute, because I don't want, this thing gets loud. Okay. So what you're seeing here, guys, well, you might even see people in here in this chat that's over here right now, too. You never know. I've seen that happen before. So with that being said, what you're looking at here is a continuous live feed on here, over here on this YouTube channel. And because I'm showing it to you, I'm going to put this in the chat. So if you guys want to go check this out, you can. But what you're seeing is this detects meteors. Now, I have to explain to you how this thing detects them. It's actually seeing the disruption of the atmosphere behind the meteor when it gets into our atmosphere. You're not actually seeing the core of the meteor. You're seeing what's getting blown off of it. So that's what you see. Now, with that being said, it gives us a really good idea of the size of them, how large they are, the speed that they're traveling, all those kinds of things. But sometimes you'll come over here, like, this is what I tell people. Get like the next time we have a predicted meteor shower, come over to this site. You'll see these things going crazy. Hey, what's going on, Taylor? How you doing? You'll see a bunch. They'll start dinging, pinging, and doing all kinds of crazy things. I'll turn the sound on, but I'm going to turn it down so you guys can hear it. Okay, you get that background, like, I guess, white noise sound. You guys hear that beep just there? That's a meteor. Right there. Now, well, looks like it's still picking up some of it. So, we actually got kind of lucky here. Sometimes you'll come over here and you'll watch this thing for like a half hour and it won't do nothing because there's no meteors around. But right now it is. It's picking it up. Can it pick up some jazz music? Good one. Good one. I'm going to mute that while I'm talking. But, yeah. So I suggest everybody go over here and subscribe to this channel and go watch it sometimes. Next time we have a meteor shower, I'll try to remember to remind everybody about this. There's actually a few of them, a few of these channels. It's called livemeteor.com, livemeteors.com. I'll put the link in the chat again. Lady Jan, not at the moment. I don't really have any other platform I broadcast on. I'm thinking about doing like a D Live or something like that and just doing a simulcast. That's probably the best option I have, just to have a backup thing going on there. Yeah, you're welcome, Leaston. By the way, Axe, thank you for handling that for me. I seen what you did there for me, so you know, right there. Thanks. That was a really that was a really good way to handle that. Thank you. DLive, let me say this. There's censoring on every platform. It's just not as bad. Okay. Can it pick up the CMEs? Probably not, because this is actually seen. Well, probably not. No, because what you're seeing is the disruption of the atmosphere behind this meteor. That's really what you're seeing. You'll have to go over here and look at the schematics and stuff in the description of what you're actually looking at. We can do that on a later different live stream, but I actually looked into this to see what we were actually looking at before I brought it to you guys the first time, and that's what you're seeing. You're not actually seeing the meteor itself. So for it to see like CME material and stuff like that, probably not, because CME material, guys, is plasma. There's 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, plasma. What is plasma? Well, it's charged particles, charged gas. That's as simple as that. Now, they didn't think that, they didn't even know for the longest time that there was actually plasma. They added that a while back. I don't know what that is, Melissa. What is that? IMCO. I might know what that is, but I don't recognize the name there. Yeah, Taylor, you're making a good comment there, guys. Listen, I work part-time in lawn care, and I've been around it for a while, and I can tell you just by listening to my coworkers that the sun is hitting us different. Okay? They don't know what I do on the internet. I've heard they've actually come to me and say, "Man, the sun is so much more intense this year than what it was 2 or 3 years ago." And that's exactly what I would expect them to see. Yeah, guys, if you guys go over here and check out this channel, give them a thumbs up. Throw in there, "Hey, Wages World sent me," in the chat. It'd be pretty cool if you guys, just stopped over there for a second and gave him a subscription. How many has he got? Well, it's not telling us how many subs he's got, but, I like to support people that, deserve stuff like that. This live stream runs 24 hours a day, guys. Now, there's not a whole lot of, commentary here. Yeah, Ricky, you subbed over here too. A lot of you guys probably are. But he just runs, he runs this live stream. Or she. I don't even know if it's a guy or girl. Hey, Russell, what's up? It's just really neat. Like when, say you're a star watcher, right? And you go outside, you got telescopes and all that kind of thing, right? I think Hilly's got a telescope that he actually goes out and looks at stuff. Thanks, Tanya. Appreciate that. Thanks, Kathleen. I appreciate that. But if if you're doing that kind of stuff, and you're going to go out and watch a meteor shower, and then you go outside to do that, and it's cloudy. You're like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Now I don't get to see nothing," right? Well, if that happens, at least you could come in here, jump on YouTube, and at least see how active it is. You're buffering a lot? Maybe I'll shut some stuff off. Is anybody else buffering, guys? I can shut that off. Let me check my stream strength. Stream health. Says it's good. At 2:39, what time is it? Yeah. It jumped down, I guess it looks like, for a second. Yeah, the Gemini menacing muskrat puts a good thing in there, guys. The peak of it's going to be on the 12th to the 13th of December. 5 an hour is what they're expecting. You know, let me show you guys something real quick too while we're talking about this. If you guys go over to spaceweather.com, anytime that there are meteor showers, they always post it here. Okay? They got some really good content over here, guys. This webpage. They really do. Look at this. Fireballs. So, yeah. 45 of them. Yeah, guys, if you're having issues with buffering and things, if everybody else in here isn't having any, if one person in here isn't having buffering, it's not me. And it's not on my end. I can't really do much about it. So my suggestion is just to back out and come back in. Oh, wow, look at that. You kidding me? Look at that, guys. Look at that. 0.1 lunar distance on the 7th. 2 of them. Those were not there. Let me show you how I know. Let's go back to the 7th. Not there. You see what I'm saying? This is what I tell people, and it's not, I mean, I give credit where credit's due, and the guys that are trying to plot these things, which is not spaceweather.com, okay, they get this data from other sources, and then they just post this data, right? But like whoever's watching, whatever agency's watching for these near-Earth objects, they can't watch the whole sky. It's impossible. So when they miss stuff, I don't want to say it's like acceptable, but I can see how that could happen, is what I'm trying to say. But if we go, like this is the 7th, right? There was nothing there then, right? Let's go back to today. And now it's there. Guys, that's close. That's 1/10 the distance to the moon. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to say, Robin. Exactly. Hey, Knowledge, what's up? So what I'm saying is that today's the 9th, right? These 2 asteroid or meteorites, whatever they were, they're 9 diameters and 3 diameter. A 3 diameter rock, guys, is not that big at all. Most of us wouldn't even know if that actually came into our atmosphere. Chances are it would be over top of water, and it wouldn't even hit the water. It would disintegrate. It's that small. Okay? A 9 may have a chance, I guess, a little, for us to see it. But the most significant thing here is that these things had already passed us by 2 days before they seen them. So if they were gonna hit us, we would have never known it until they did, because they didn't see it. Yeah, Axe makes a great comment there. That's one of the craziest things that I've ever heard when I first heard that, Axe. He says the government gets the meteor hits information from insurance claims. So they wait until it hits your house and then they plot it. It's crazy. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, if they knew that was there, I would think that they would put it there before the day of. It's kind of crazy. So yeah. But we got the fireballs going on, and you know, I just think it's funny. And this is interesting too, guys. The Saturn Jupiter thing. It's going to be at the conjunction of them. There'll be 0.1 degree difference. So virtually they're going to look like they're on top of each other. It's going to be extremely bright. Hopefully wherever you're at in the world, you'll be able to step outside and kind of try to take a look at that. If you got good weather. So that's exactly what that's what I'd be doing. So, they're saying over here too, they're talking about the geomagnetic storm warning because that's actually there. That's why I'm doing this live stream, so we can see what happens if it does. It should. What we've seen is definitely coming. Definitely fired at us. It was a big halo, so we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if this shows us anything right now. I mean, it's moving around a little bit, guys. It's not excessive, though. It's not much, really, to be honest. Not a whole lot there. Now, that's just showing us speed, though, okay? Let's check out the density and see if it's got anything to add here. Probably not. Not at this point. Yeah, that's not a whole lot of activity either. Now the pressure's kind of building, but it doesn't look like extreme amount either right now. I mean that's more intense than what we usually see, but it's not that much more. Sun's off to the left there, guys. So if you guys were wanting to know. So we got this, and then let's go back here. I'll be really curious to see where this next data point comes in here on the geomagnetic activity, to see if we've raised any more yet. The X-ray flux, it looks like we may have had a little beep. Not a big one at all. Not even really one to even talk about. That's not even nothing really. But that's just showing X-ray. It's not showing geomagnetic activity. Hey man, what's up, Mike and Cindy? How you guys doing? Everybody give ER some love. You guys need to go over and subscribe to their channel. But if we look at this, this is just the solar wind speed itself. It's kind of raised up and kind of elevated, and it looks like it actually kind of tailed off right there. So we may not see that go up right away. The actual geomagnetism here. It may be hanging out for a minute. It may take, the timing of this is definitely not what the Enlil model said it was going to be. Because if this thing was correct, we would be seeing all this stuff right now. And we're not. But I also, like I said, guys, earlier, this thing hasn't updated since the 8th. I don't know why it's not updating, but it's not. So, yeah. We've had one of the biggest solar flares and CMEs facing and coming at Earth in a good amount of time, and this thing ain't updating. That's yeah. I don't know why it's not, so I'm not going to make and say it's anything crazy, but the timing of that is kind of nuts. I don't know why that's happening, but it is what it is. Now we can go look at NASA's Model 2, which is did I kick that off? I think I did. Hold on a minute. Let's go back and grab it. This is NASA's model. The Enlil model is a NOAA model, okay? But this is a CME tracker, and this really ain't going to change from what we've seen before because they don't usually update this thing unless it sees something else. So it's not taking a continuous data stream and trying to update and all that kind of stuff. The Enlil model does. This one doesn't. But the timing of it, they both were close, but they were still a little different. Appreciate that, Deanie. Deani, maybe? Is that how you say your name? Sorry if I butchered your name there. Hey, Hilly. You're killing me, Knowledge. Yeah, well, this was, like I said, guys, it's normal for this model not to update until it sees another CME. It usually won't. Matter of fact, I can't remember a time that it actually did re-update without seeing a CME, a new one. Yeah, I'm fear-mongering, machinist. If it's boring, well, why are you here? Have fun. All good. All good. Don't worry, guys. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, people can come in here and attack me all day long. I simply just don't care. That's cool. Well, you can be unless I decide you're not. And then you can come back in with your 5,000 sock accounts if you want. But that's okay. I don't do that to people. People can have their voice. So, like I said, guys, this one here, it does not do its thing, you know. It won't update unless it sees another CME. So, that's just been my experience with this model, and it's been, you know, I've really not seen it ever do that, but maybe once, if I kind of think back on it, maybe it did re-update, but it could have been just because it thought it seen a second CME. So, yeah. Let's see here. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. But, yeah, like right here, guys, again, it looks like the solar wind speed's diving off again. I'm not really sure why. It could just be fluctuating, you know? And again, the electron flux is kind of dancing around too. Looks like we got some activity, you know, just moving around there, but it's not like humongous. So, like I said, guys, I'm not seeing any kind of huge movement anywhere. And maybe that's not what we're going to see. We may just see a slow increase in what we got going on. You know? Yeah, guys, anytime we're getting any kind of increased solar activity, you might see some buffering across the platform altogether. This is going to show you X-ray, you know, the absorption rate. It'll show you where the flares are hitting. But basically what that's showing you is the sun side of the Earth. Hold on a minute, guys. Hello. Yeah. All right. I'll just take Kev's car. It's fine. All right. That's you. Bye. Freaking retarded. No, it ain't Pyres. That was my wife. My daughter's at the doctor, and yeah, real life's happening. So when my daughter gets here, she's got they needed to get a urine sample from her, and she's having problems with that. So my wife's going to bring her home and wait till she has to go to the bathroom. I might take her back out there. So anyway. Yeah. Yeah, we had a good time last night, guys. You know, no, not a drug test at all. My daughter's 13. She's just having some issues, guys. Yeah, just pray for her if you would. Appreciate it. You know, it's kind of funny because, you know, this is what I'm saying. People come in here and they want to blast this live chat and stuff, but they forget that we're real people. You know, they don't know what we're going through. I don't go to their whatever channel or whatever and do that to them. But it's okay for them to come in here and just completely blast me when I'm having issues in real life. But they don't know that, right? They shouldn't have to know that to just be normal people. But they do. You know? I hope, my hope is that they can kind of figure out that they don't have to be like that. They just don't. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but when I'm having like a significant issue here at my house that I hadn't shared with anybody yet, they don't know that that's what's going on. But yet they want to come up in here and just completely slam the chat or get all crazy calling people stupid and I'm a fear monger and all that kind of stuff. I don't usually even address it, but hopefully they can kind of understand that sometimes people are just people and we're doing the best that we can. That's all. Yeah, Robin. I just try to handle things a little different because I don't know what's going on in their life either. But that's okay. I'm sure they'll be back to slam me again. It's okay. That's because of what I've talked about before with the keyboard warrior type of thing. There is no accountability there, so they can say what they want and then they can just bounce. But I even give them a platform because, believe it or not, I actually do care about them too. I do. That's just what it is. No, I'm not going to block them. I know a lot of people want me to. If they were attacking people in my chat, that's when I do. That's when things get done, or if they're attacking another channel. But they could come in here and slam me all day. But, I'm a real person. To those of you guys that are here, that are here to be here just to be coming at me, I'm a real person. I have a real life, and I have a wife and 3 kids. And right now my daughter's sick. And you come up in my chat and just start doing what you do. That didn't help my day, so thank you. Just so you know. But that's okay. I'm good. I got my peeps around me here. So we're all good. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. So anyway, let's get away from that for a minute. That's not why you guys are here. I get it. I understand. I'm not trying to play some sort of victim or anything there either. It's just the truth of what's actually happening. People don't know what other people are going through, and then they want to slam people or say mean things or say certain things. And like I said earlier, I am a human. Well, you just said it, Angelo. And if we treat each other like that, I'm not going to treat that person like that ever. They could come in here and do that all they want. It's okay. But anyway, the aurora forecast here, guys, this is like a historic thing here too. If you look at the timestamp here, it'll show you what's happening from, this is the most current one right here. Okay, so what I do usually is I'll take it to the end and I'll back it up, and it'll show you where the auroras were, or the percentage of the chances of them. So if we back this up, you see how that got kind of low over there? And then right there, it kind of looks like it may have gotten to the border of the United States. And so we move on there. That's just something I think is, this is a positive thing about geomagnetic storms, okay? That's a positive thing. They're very, very beautiful stuff. It really is. Really cool stuff. Yeah, the 21st is the alignment. Sorry, guys, I got kind of sidetracked when I got that phone call. These two are going to come real close to each other, and it won't happen again like that. I think they said for like 800 years. That's a long time. Yeah, George, I really tried, because I understand that, and just to be honest with you guys, I used to be like that. I used to just be like completely, man, if you said something that I thought was stupid, I was calling it out. And, you know, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I may not have all the answers. I may never have all the answers. And I might just look like a complete fool sometimes. But I'm out here trying. And that's just what it is. And that's where it ends. And I do it because of you guys. So, just know that. 2790. That right there, that sunspot, that's the only one we got. Give me a second here, guys. Did you bring it home? Why? I don't understand why you can't do that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm asking because I've never heard you have a problem like this. Ever. I get it. I'm just saying. I just don't understand why you couldn't do it out there. That's all.
I went pee before I left.
Okay.
And I chugged a bottle of water.
Okay.
Is that muted?
Huh, yeah.
I went pee
Okay,
and
just,
okay, fine.
yeah, just wait a minute. It's muted, but it's not. Just listen to me. So, I know I will. I'll be in there in just a second. I'm live. That's why I'm going to shut it down. So, anyway, guys, yeah. So, I got real life happening. Okay? So I'm going to have to shut my live stream down. I know you can. And that's why I was trying to, just kind of bring it down. So, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate everybody here. I'll come back on a little bit later, guys, and try to give you an update. But I have to, obviously, my family comes before any of this. So I'll just have to go and take care of that, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.